I am to birthdays what J.K. Rowling is to now problematic wizard stories.
Let's push the button marked idiot and see what comes out.
Hello. My name is Emma Charlotte Dreary Watson. You might know me in my famous turn as child actor, later activist. I love BLM and LGBT nonsense.
I am the god of hellfire, and I bring you fire. J.K. Rowling is the Great White Hope. And before you start, that is not a racist statement. She is the Great White Shark, the biggest man-eater of them all. I'm likening the lovely Miss Jo Rowling to you and I, to that great predator of the sea. But instead of eating up men alive, because I'm pretty sure Miss Rowling has had that reputation in the past when she's needed to do that, no, her prey this time.
Emma Watson. She's proud to call herself a feminist, but we all know she's a witch.
You know, the same Emma Watson who grew up to be a so-so actress and became a full-time activist, in the process attacking Ms. Rowling on her views that, shock horror, there are only two genders.
Perhaps Slytherin, or maybe Hufflepuff, or trans women aren't really women.
Wait, what?
Because men have a pee-pee and women have a Brillo pad. And I happen to be very fond of Brillo pads, particularly the flat ones. But getting back to the topic today, folks, did you see Ms. Watson on the J Shitty podcast? Neither did I. Well, I'll watch it later on. It's nearly 1 hour long. The same shitty podcast, ladies and gentlemen, where our intrepid female guest sat across from the host, all cross-legged, like it was an Austin Powers movie moment where she was a yogurt guru chanting Habalaz. Needs a bit more salt.
It's my deepest wish that I hope people who don't agree with my opinion will love me, and I hope I can keep loving people who I don't necessarily share the same opinion with.
What, are you retarded?
Honestly, it gets funnier and funnier every time I watch Miss Watson make it an absolute fool of herself.
I'm in a weird world. Kung Fu Hot Dog!
Excellent!
Now you might be wondering, ladies and gentlemen, why has this podcast caused such a controversy and landed Miss Watson in so much hot water? Well, it's quite simple, really. After this 1 hour long diatribe, it seems that somebody reached out from Jo Rowling's team, whispered in their ear, Jo saw it, Jo shook her head in disbelief and decided to roast the living shit out of Miss Watson because these two became arch enemies when, again, I reiterate, they had a disagreement about gender ideology. Because I don't know about you, when I step out of my flat, walk down the street, I hope not to see some two-legged, pronged person with different coloured hair and bright red lipstick trying to engage in conversation with me about their crazy cult. Nope, I just turn and walk the other way. You would see Emma Watson at various things like the BAFTA Awards referring to Ms. Rowling as a witch. Oh, how dare she!
I'm here for all of the witches.
Listen, if J.K. Rowling is a witch, she's more than welcome to knock on my door anytime. As I've often said on this channel, I think Ms. Rowling is a beautiful woman and she's aged like a fine wine. I also believe that Ms. Rowling lived in the Clapham Junction area of Battersea. So back in the 90s, while I was tooling and oodling to the station to do my daily shift at Planet Hollywood, I might have walked past her when she was writing manuscripts for the first Harry Potter film back in the day. Or the book, I should say. But honestly, this spat between these two, who would have guessed this week it's like a Fallout game. It's Fallout 3. The debris everywhere, and amongst the rubble, you can see the mechanical mouth of Miss Emma Watson moving up and down. Ms. Watson, who was born in France by the very name of Emma Charlotte Derry Watson, because she likes to make an ass of herself, has quite evidently proven.
Don't agree with my opinion will love me, and I hope I can keep loving people who I don't necessarily share the same opinion with.
And then 5 years later, she was relocated to England because her parents divorced. I can't imagine why, where she would spend the weekdays with her mother and on the weekends shooting grouse in the house with her father. Emma is worth £85 million, and this kid was brought up in wealth, health, and happy financial stability. But you see, Emma Watson has never known what it's like to be an impoverished kid living on a Manchester or Battersea council estate like Ms. Rowling, nor has she ever witnessed, while being in the ladies' bathroom, a man walking in pretending to be a woman. No, of course, she has no idea about that, yet she stands on a platform and defends these strange people who believe there are aliens from a planet called Anus.
Do you feel comfortable with me using, female toilets?
Oh my God, of course. I would.
Does that depend on me having had surgery?
No.
What, are you retarded?
But anyway, folks, let's get back to this article here from Yahoo News, because I wanted to highlight this particular quote that Ms. Watson said on that Jay Shitty podcast. I really don't believe that by having had that experience and holding the love and support and views that I have means that I can't and don't treasure Joe Rowling and the person that I had personal experiences with, which sounds like you're painting J.K. Rowling as your mum, Emma. Is that right? Oh, it is correct, because this is later highlighted in the absolute drubbing Ms. Watson received from Ms. Rowling herself. Shall we look at that? I bet you want to see it, don't you?
Talking about Harry Potter's creator, J.K. Rowling, you have said in the past that you two have differing opinions about things, and that you would want to have a conversation about it with her.
Well, this is a discussion about trans issues and trans rights,
absolutely.
and Joe's very unusual and adamant stand on it, coming from her point of view. I'm a straight white man of 60, and I don't think it's my place to opine on those things. I've said some things online in support of various people, but I don't. I don't ever want to get into a public argument with Jo. She has things she believes fervently in.
Now, as Ms. Rowling states here in the third paragraph, Emma Watson and her co-stars, I would like to call them cohorts, we're talking Daniel Radcliffe and Rupert Grint, not Tom Felton, because I kind of like that guy, because he, like Jason Isaac, actually stuck up for Ms. Rowling when she was attacked by weirdos out there who disagreed with her gender identity politics point of view.
Does the sort of Twitterverse controversy around J.K. Rowling's views impact you at all, or impact your work on the world at all?
No, I can't say it does. I'm not really that attuned to it. The only thing I always remind myself is that I've been lucky enough to travel the world. Here I am in New York, and I have not seen anything bring the world together more than Potter. And she's responsible for that, so I'm incredibly grateful.
Such beliefs are legally protected, which is true, and wouldn't want to see any of them threatened with loss of work, violence, death because of those ideals. However, Emma and Dan in particular have both made it clear over the last few years that they think our former professional association gives them a particular right, nay obligation, to critique me and my views in public. Now, this is the thing that J.K. Rowling has said as well, that all the actors and actresses who appeared in her early film adaptations of her works, her literary works, do not owe her a debt of gratitude. But again, I think her and Tom Felton maybe talk once in a while, because he obviously kept his mouth shut and silently agrees with Ms. Rowling and her views about gender ideology. Adults can't expect to cozy up to an activist movement that regularly calls for a friend's assassination, then assert their right to the former friend's love, as though the friend was in fact their mother. Emma is rightly free to disagree with me, and indeed to discuss her feelings about me in public, but I have the same right. and I finally decided to exercise it. Pow, 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 like Tony Soprano.
You want to talk all this old school bullshit about the rules? Well, here's a rule you might remember. I'm the motherfucking fucking one who calls the shots.
Ms. Rowling, wow, woman, you blew me away. And I guess that somebody else who's left reeling in that debris of fallout, like I mentioned earlier on, is Ms. Emma Watson. Now, do I feel sorry for her? I feel sorry for the fact that she didn't become the credible actress everybody thought she'd be. I mean, the bling ring when she was doing this to the camera. Because again, you go from cutesy wootsy child actress to fully grown adult, and I guess you want men to goon at you indirectly, perhaps. I mean, did Hayley Mills do this back in the day? Of course not. Did Debbie Gibson, that 1980s songstress, do the same thing? No, but then many years later, she decided to do a tasteful pin-up pose for Playboy magazine. And before you ask, I don't have that particular issue, but I'm looking for it as I speak. But Emma Watson, my God woman, you have more money than God, it seems. Well, maybe not quite as much as God, but you know what? You should care to maybe retire, maybe go back to France and live the rest of your life, maybe meet a man who could make you feel good about yourself. But then again, while you are quite an attractive lady, Ms. Watson, would I like you to come knocking on my door? Well, at first I thought, yeah, maybe I would, but then again, I am reminded about the Johnny Depp Amber Heard episode, and could Emma Watson be a bedshitter? Well, that one is entirely up to you folks. And while you try to remove that thought from your mind, may I remind you to hit that like button, maybe try the subscribe button, because for some odd reason, YouTube is removing subs again from my channel. YouTube, do you not want me to reach 15,000 subs? Come on, I'm this guy getting beaten down here. But if I were you, and if you were me, then maybe, just maybe, you might return for the next video.
Right? Next time on Kung Fu Hot Dog.